Since June of 2016, I have been traveling from country to country to country. I have visited Omaha Beach in France. I toured around Loch Lomond in Scotland, wandered around Liverpool in the United Kingdom, visited Koh Phi Phi in Thailand, had an epic Halloween party in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, went kayaking in New Brunswick, Canada, cruised into Rotterdam, Netherlands, climbed up a cliff in Flam, Norway, walked around the village in Isofjordur, Iceland, had a beer in Krillendijk, Bonaire, had lunch in Willemstad, Curaçao, and then went cruising in an ORV, visited Cork, Ireland, which is the last city that the Titanic visited before sinking, grabbed a little bit of sun in Aruba with some friends, met some very welcoming people in Manila, Philippines, cruised around the backwaters of Can Tho, Vietnam, explored some villages in Battambang, Cambodia, walked around Old Dhaka, Bangladesh, and tried to speak some of the local language, visited Xingping, China, which has the mountains that are featured on the back of the Chinese yuan, visited a temple on Rameshwaram Island in Tamil Nadu, India, and I also did a bunch of other things with a bunch of other people in a bunch of other places. And the cool thing is, I have no plans of stopping anytime soon. So how could I afford to do this? Well,
I'm rich.
I grew up in a mansion surrounded by maids and butlers, and life growing up was extremely easy. My parents would buy me anything that I wanted. I had the latest gaming equipment, I had many recreational vehicles, and when I turned 16, my parents even bought me my first Lamborghini. My God, I'm joking. None of those things are true. The only part that was true was that I traveled. I definitely didn't come from a rich family. I grew up in a middle-class family. I learned very early on in life that if I wanted something, I had to work for it. And my first car was a 1990 Pontiac Bonneville, which was super sexy. But I'm definitely not complaining. It definitely got me from point A to point B, just not really in style. So today's video is sponsored by solotravel365.com because, well, there's basically no better way to shamelessly promote my own website. If you're considering becoming a solo traveler and you're looking for a lot of information, the website contains tons of information that will help you get from where you are now to where you need to be up here. Someone recently asked me how to save enough money to start traveling the world, so I thought I would make a video and try to answer his question, and hopefully it might help a couple other people. This honestly has more to do with mindset than it does anything else, and I'm gonna prove that to you. Oh yeah, some people have said that I'm really blunt, so yep. So a long time ago, I listened to one very successful businessman who said in a speech, and he said something that I'll never forget. He said basically if you want to grow your bank account, there's only two ways to do it. Option one is to make more money. Option two is to spend less money. So option one, obviously everybody wants to make more money, but how do you do it? Well, there's not very many options. You can either change your job, get a second job, or ask your current boss for a raise. Asking your boss for a raise probably isn't going to work, so therefore option one and option two are gonna be your best bet. So is changing your job or getting a second job and spending tons of extra hours per week working overtime an easy thing? No, it's not. It's definitely not an easy thing, but you must ask yourself, how bad do you wanna start traveling the world? So the second option that I mentioned before is basically spend less money. Now this is the easier option. This is the option that I took many years ago when I started to change my life to travel. So however much money you make right now, assuming that stays the same, the only other option you can do is spend less of it. So basically think of it this way. The next latest, hottest, best phone ever is coming out. Do you need to buy it? No, probably not. Does your phone currently work without any problems? Yeah, it probably does. So do you need that upgrade? Not really. The only way I would recommend getting a new phone is if you dropped yours or it's destroyed or it went underwater and it's just, you can't fix it. Then yeah, you need a new phone. But then do you need the latest, the nicest, highest quality phone that there is? No, you probably don't. You probably just need something that will make some phone calls, send some messages, and you're good to go. You can live with something in the middle. Do you actually need cable TV or satellite or whatever is the new thing these days? I don't even know anymore. Netflix is pretty cheap, but I'm sure there are different packages that you can get. Do you need the biggest, highest upgrade of everything? Doubt it. Every morning when you go to work, you stop for coffee. That's like $5. Do you really need to do that, you could have prepared it at home before you left. Set your alarm a couple minutes earlier and get out of bed and prepare your own coffee. That would actually save you quite a bit of money. $5, multiply that out every day for 30 days and multiply that by a year. There's some serious cash just on coffee. What about when you get to work and lunch comes? Yeah? Do you go out and order food every day? That's $5, $10 per meal per day. Multiply that out. How much are you spending out eating at a restaurant every day? Little things like this start to add up considerably. Again, why not set your alarm, get up a little bit earlier, prepare your own meal for the day, and save money that way? So I could sit here and give you like 1,000 examples about how you could save money. Obviously, everybody is totally different. Some people don't go out to eat, some people do. Some people the coffee thing, some people don't. Some people have to have the best technology, others no. Everyone is different, but the reality is we all spend money on shit that we don't need. Sure, we want it, but do we need it? Yeah, that's the big question you have to be asking yourself. Remember, the essentials are food, water, electricity, shelter, and clothing, depending on what country you're in, I don't know, but those are the essentials, and anything beyond that, like, what else do you need? If you spend money on those things, does it make your life easier and more enjoyable while you're living in your country? Yeah, it totally does. Sitting on your ass and watching Netflix all day, or drinking 10 cups of coffee or going to restaurants every day, yeah, it's kind of nice. I enjoy it too. But the reality is, if you want the end result to be you traveling in another country, you have to save money. And the only way to do that is to stop spending money on things that are not essential. So this is the path that I went down before I left. And for an entire year, I cut everything out of my budget. There was nothing in my budget that wasn't essential. I was wearing shirts that were old and had holes in them. I didn't care. I would never go out to eat unless someone invited me, but even then I'd be like, no, let's do something else. I would try to avoid going out to eat simply for the purpose of saving money. I didn't want to spend money on things that weren't essential. I even saved money by living with a family. Now in the United States, that's like totally weird and taboo, like to rent a room from a family. I did for a long time, and it saved a lot of money. And that money is what I used to start traveling the world. Would it have been nice to rent my own house, my own apartment? Yeah, totally would have. Would have had a lot more privacy, and it would have given me a lot more freedom. But the amount of money that I saved was totally worth it, because I could take all that and apply it on travel for years and years to come. So do I really want you to stop living the comfortable lifestyle? Well, that's up to you. Basically, if you think that the money that you are earning right now, it's not increasing and you're not saving enough money this way, the only other option is to spend less. So you'll have to live a kind of mediocre lifestyle for a length of time to save enough money and apply that money towards your travel. Remember a couple minutes ago I said that saving enough money to start traveling the world comes down to mindset? Well, this is kind of what I'm talking about. Remember, we all have a choice. We can either continue down the same path that we've been continuing down for a long time, or we can choose to live below our means in order to save enough money, and we can take the money that we saved down the road and apply it towards travel. And if you're watching this video and you're from an underdeveloped country, I don't know what to say. It is much more difficult for people who are living in an underdeveloped country to do what I'm doing. You can work and have this job in your country, and we would have the same job in my country, but obviously the income is significantly higher than what you would make here. You may save money, and we may save money, but when we go out to travel, the money that we save would be much larger than what you would save here in general. So unfortunately, it is a very difficult task if you are from a country that is still developing. I'm not sure what to tell you. There are people within your country who are traveling, like myself, but it's a bigger hurdle, a bigger mountain to climb to make it happen. And so the only recommendation I can give to you is either A, study very hard, get an amazing job, earn a lot of money, or option B, wherever you're at in life, save money and apply that towards traveling in your own country. A lot of times when you're traveling outside of your country, you'll be blown away how much more expensive things are outside of your country than it is inside your country. So if you're in that particular situation, my recommendation is just uncover the hidden gems that are inside your own country, because it's a very difficult task to save enough money to get out and travel the world like myself. But it is possible. But for those of you who do live in the West and are serious about starting to travel the world, honestly, the key is just spend less money for a length of time and take that money to start traveling. So how much money do you need to begin? Well, that completely depends on you and the style of traveling that you want to go on. You can save a lot of money for an entire year and spend all of that money as a luxury traveler, and you can spend that all in 30 days. You can take that same amount of money and apply it to a trip to Southeast Asia, and that might last you 1 or 2 years. To learn how to save as much money as possible after you've started to travel, go to solotravel365.com/travel cheaper. Here you're going to find tons and tons of examples that you can use to save money after you've started to travel the world. I've used some of these methods, and let me tell you, I've saved a lot of money after I traveled. In fact, when I first started to travel, I thought that I was going to go on this cycle of working for 6 months, traveling for 2 months, working for 6 months, traveling for 2 months, something like that. Then I realized if I traveled like a local person, I could actually save a hell of a lot of money while traveling. And so I've gotten really good at this, and there's no reason that you can't as well. So visit that link, and let me tell you, you'll learn a lot of information that will help you save money after you have started your journey. So in short, like I said before, you either have to make more money or spend less money. It really is that simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Do whatever you need to do to make it happen. Remember, if you want to do something that most people will only dream about doing, you have to be willing to do the things that most people are unwilling to do. And if it requires that you work a second job, or get a new job, or learn a new skill or a new trade or something, or maintaining the same financial status but spending less of it after you take it home from your job, then that's what you have to do. Either way, it's a challenge, but you have to be willing to accept it. And I can guarantee that if you want it bad enough, you'll do it.